You might feel at ease because you have a savings account. But what if I told you that very same savings account is quietly destroying your financial future? Would you believe it? I know it sounds hard to accept. For decades, we have been taught that saving money is a symbol of wisdom and safety. But the harsh truth is this: a stagnant savings account today is like an ice block melting away in the middle of an inflationary desert. I'm not saying this just to shock you. I am speaking from experience. Over my 30 years of personal financial management, I have witnessed thousands of people step into their 60s, confidently believing they had prepared enough for their retirement years, only to find themselves a few years later selling their homes, cutting back on their living expenses, and struggling to survive because their savings could not keep up with the brutal pace of inflation. If you are between the ages of 61 and 89, what I am about to share with you is not just a warning. It is a financial survival map, because even a small mistake today, a blind faith in your savings account, could cost you the quality of the rest of your life. Before we dive in, leave a positive affirmation in the comments below as a commitment to attract good things into your life. For example, I am always in control of my finances at every stage of life, or any other wish you have. And do not forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you will not miss important content like this. Let us build a community full of positive energy and proactive living. Now let us get started. First, I will reveal to you why saving money in a bank between the ages of 61 and 89 can be extremely dangerous. As you enter the age range of 61 to 89, your opportunities to create new income streams drop significantly. Therefore, most older adults place absolute trust in their lifelong accumulated assets, especially their bank savings accounts, as a lifeline to keep their finances safe. In theory, saving money could preserve its value if inflation remains low or matches the bank's interest rates. But reality paints a very different picture. According to data from the United States Federal Reserve and other international financial organizations, typical savings interest rates currently range from 2% to 4% per year. Meanwhile, the actual inflation rate, especially considering essential costs like healthcare, food, and housing, is running at 5% to 7%, and sometimes even higher, depending on where you live. This means that each year your money is quietly losing about 2% to 5% of its purchasing power without you even noticing it. Economists call this phenomenon hidden inflation, where the balance in your bank account appears stable, even slightly growing due to interest. But in reality, its actual purchasing power is shrinking day by day. Imagine this with a 5% annual loss of value. After just 10 years, your real purchasing power will have dropped by nearly 40%. This means that savings that could cover 10 years of expenses today would barely cover 6 years a decade. Later, a true disaster for seniors relying solely on their savings. And it gets worse. When it comes to healthcare costs, which are rising far faster than the general consumer price index, the erosion is even more rapid. One surgery, one round of chronic illness treatment, or even just the cost of monthly prescription medications could completely derail your financial plans if you are depending solely on saved up money in a savings account. Now that you understand why saving money between the ages of 61 and 89 carries far more risks than most people realize, let us move on to reveal 4 specific reasons why saving can become a sweet trap for older adults. First, the illusion of safety tricks us. Human beings tend to believe what they see. When you look at your savings account balance, it is easy to be deceived into thinking your wealth is still intact. But in reality, the important thing is not the number you see, but the real-world value that money can buy. As purchasing power steadily declines over time, a sum of money that fails to outpace inflation is actually weakening day by day. Even worse, because people trust this false sense of safety too much. Many do not realize they are sliding down a financial slope until it is too late to recover. Second, money in a savings account is silently eaten away every day. A boat left adrift in a swift river does not need anyone to capsize it. It will sink by itself. Bank savings are the same. Even if not a single penny is withdrawn, the real value of that money keeps shrinking under the relentless pressure of rising living costs. As long as inflation outpaces savings interest by even a small margin each year, the erosion will snowball into a disaster after just a few years. Third, savings accounts do not generate new income streams, leading to stagnant capital. Your money is truly alive only when it continuously generates new value, dividends, profits, income from rental properties, and so on. But a savings account, sitting still earning a tiny annual interest, is no different than a barren plot of land left untouched during fertile seasons. After the age of 60, you need gentle but stable streams of passive income to supplement your living expenses, healthcare costs, and unexpected needs. A stagnant savings account cannot provide that. It only stretches a short-term sense of security while planting the seeds for long-term shortages. Fourth, in times of urgent need, you will find yourself completely helpless. Illnesses, accidents, and major life events never ask for permission. When an unexpected event happens, you need quick access to cash. But bank savings accounts, especially those tied to long-term fixed deposits, often come with penalties for early withdrawal. Worse yet, if you are forced to liquidate during a period of financial instability, the small amount of interest you have earned will not be enough to offset the skyrocketing expenses. You will face a tough choice: either withdraw and accept the loss, or hold on and watch your assets continue to shrink. Either way, the end result is the same loss of financial control and the inability to protect your quality of life. Understanding the risks of saving is only the first step. To truly secure your finances after the age of 60, you must also recognize other critical mistakes. And next, I will reveal the 5 most dangerous financial mistakes that many people never see coming. First mistake: keeping all your assets in one account. There is an unbreakable rule in finance: never put all your eggs in one basket. When you keep all your money in a single savings account, you are tying yourself to systemic risk. If the bank runs into trouble, or if you need to access your money at a disadvantageous time, you may lose immediate access to your funds. Moreover, the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation in the United States only insures up to $250,000 United States dollars per account per bank. If your total savings exceed this amount without proper allocation, you are exposing yourself to a significant risk of loss if a financial shock occurs. Second mistake: not diversifying your assets. Asset allocation. Asset allocation is not just a nice financial trick. It is the bedrock that determines the strength and safety of your entire personal financial strategy, especially after you turn 60. An ideal investment portfolio at this stage of life should be designed like a sturdy defense system. It must maximize safety while maintaining stable growth over time. Specifically, it should include a balanced mix of ultra-safe assets such as government bonds, physical gold, and emergency cash reserves, combined with slow but stable growth assets like long-term dividend funds and income-generating rental properties. Without proper allocation, you are like a boat adrift on a stormy financial ocean with no paddle and no life vest. A sudden storm from the stock market, real estate market, or macroeconomic forces could wipe out decades of hard-earned savings. But with smart diversification, you will have enough financial cushioning to survive the turbulence while preserving the value of your assets. Third mistake: not having a separate emergency fund. A minor accident or a short hospital stay can easily wipe out tens of thousands of dollars. Without a dedicated emergency fund enough to cover at least 6 to 12 months of living expenses, you would be forced to dip into long-term investments or break your financial plan just to deal with an unexpected situation. Personal finance research shows that people with a strong emergency fund recover financially twice as fast as those without one-fourth mistake, believing in special interest rates without checking hidden conditions. Many banks advertise attractive interest rates to lure in older customers, but these offers often come with hidden strings attached: long deposit terms, high penalties for early withdrawal, or very large minimum balance requirements. If you only look at the interest rate without carefully reading the contract, you could easily find yourself locked in to inflexible products or worse, lose money when you need quick access. In finance, there is no such thing as a free lunch. Any unusually high return always comes with hidden costs. Fifth mistake, not investing in health insurance and long-term care insurance. At age 60 and beyond, health risks are no longer a possibility. They are a certainty. A round of treatment for a chronic illness or a small accident leading to loss of self-care ability could devour your entire lifetime savings if you do not have the protective shield of insurance. Health insurance and long-term care insurance not only cover your treatment costs, but they also safeguard your core investments from being liquidated in an emergency. Investing in insurance is a strategy for asset preservation, not a useless expense as many mistakenly believe. Identifying financial mistakes is only the beginning. More importantly, you must find the right path to both protect your assets and allow your money to grow safely. So, if traditional savings are no longer an ideal option, where should you place your trust? When facing old age, the number one priority in asset management is no longer maximizing returns, but maintaining safety, stability, and long-term spending power. But safety does not mean letting your money sit idle. True safety comes from knowing how to allocate wisely to protect the value of your assets against life's inevitable changes and market fluctuations. A golden rule for people over 60 is to structure their assets according to a 70-30 ratio. 70% of assets should be placed into extremely safe channels, prioritizing capital preservation. The remaining 30% should go into slow and steady growth investments to gently expand the portfolio and counteract inflation. Specifically, the allocation strategy could be as follows: 30% in government bonds. United States, government bonds are considered the world's safest investment haven. These assets carry almost no bankruptcy risk, helping to preserve capital while providing a fixed income. Moreover, short and medium-term bonds offer older investors greater cash flow flexibility. 30% in physical gold or gold certificates. Throughout financial history, gold has consistently maintained its value during periods of economic uncertainty and high inflation. A reasonable portion of gold in your portfolio not only hedges against risk, but also provides a solid layer of protection when financial markets become volatile. 20% in small, manageable real estate investments. Owning small rental properties or reputable real estate investment trusts can create a stable stream of passive income. Importantly, real estate tends to appreciate alongside inflation, helping to preserve your assets' purchasing power over the long term. However, you must choose properties that are easy to sell and do not require complex management. 10% in flexible cash reserves. Cash acts as a safety cushion used for handling unexpected spending needs without having to sell off long-term assets. This amount should be spread across multiple FDIC-insured accounts or placed in short-term certificates of deposit with flexible terms. 10% in defensive investment funds. Defensive funds are all about focusing on stocks that pay regular dividends or defensive real estate investment trusts that have a strong history of making consistent payouts. These types of investments help your portfolio grow slowly but steadily, while also creating a regular stream of cash to cover your everyday expenses without ever needing to touch the money you originally invested. Beyond asset allocation, it is crucial to build a clear layered fund system. Living expense fund for 6 to 12 months. Save enough to cover basic living costs for 6 to 12 months kept in cash or ultra-liquid assets. This serves as your first line of defense against minor setbacks. Special certificates of deposit prioritize products with fixed interest rates and short terms, ensuring safety and easy access without losing much interest if needed. Dividend investment funds and real estate investment trust funds ensure a stable quarterly passive income to cover extraordinary expenses, such as healthcare costs or home repairs. Purchase health insurance and long-term care insurance. These are not optional. They are mandatory parts of a strong financial protection plan in old age. A good insurance policy could save your entire financial plan by shielding you from massive medical expenses in the future. And one more crucial note. Older adults must not blindly chase hot investment tips or complicated financial products. Every investment must meet the criteria of being easy to understand, easy to manage, transparent, and focused on capital preservation. After finding a safe pathway for your money, an important question arises. Why has saving, once considered wise 30 years ago, now become such a risky choice? To understand this fully, let us look directly at the difference between the past and the present. In the 1990s, saving was indeed a smart financial strategy. Back then, bank interest rates held steady at around 6% to 8% per year, while inflation hovered between just 2% and 3%. Money kept in the bank was not only safe, but its real value also steadily grew over time without requiring risky investments. But the financial world of 2025 has completely changed. Savings interest rates now hover between 2% and 4%, while real inflation erodes purchasing power by 5% to 7% annually. This means that instead of growing your wealth as before, your bank savings are now silently losing value, trapping depositors in a passive and defensive stance without their realization. Especially in today's highly volatile economic cycles and continuous global financial instability, keeping your money idle in a savings account means steadily losing your real spending power. In this new era, financial thinking must evolve. Safety no longer lies in hoarding cash, but in actively protecting the real value of assets. Wise individuals must know how to allocate capital, intelligently diversify risks, and create sustainable passive income streams. Not everyone falls into financial hardship in old age because of a lack of money. Many people, even those with substantial savings, gradually lose their wealth simply because they are trapped in outdated financial mindsets. Especially after the age of 60, there are 3 types of people most likely to fall into this tragedy. The first type are those who trust banks too much. They live with the belief that banks are the safest fortress for money, just as it was true in the past century, but they forget that the economic environment is constantly changing. Today, prolonged low interest rate policies, rapidly rising inflation, and global volatility mean that keeping all assets in a bank savings account is no longer enough to protect personal finances. It is like a soldier going into battle with outdated weapons. Simple trust alone cannot withstand the destruction brought by a new era. The second type are those who are excessively frugal. Fear of spending and worries about depleting their assets make them postpone necessary expenses, like routine health checkups, early treatments, or even investments to improve their quality of life. They forget that health is the foundation of all wealth. A small untreated wound today can turn into a massive medical bill tomorrow, and could even strip away the ability to work, enjoy life, and remain independent. In fact, many elderly individuals do not die of poverty, but die of delayed illnesses, because they were too afraid to spend when necessary, allowing small health issues to escalate into crises. The third type are those who rely entirely on a single savings account, compound interest. The phenomenon where interest earns additional interest was famously called the eighth wonder of the world by Albert Einstein. It is one of the most powerful principles for protecting wealth against time and inflation. Yet many people over 60 think they have completed their mission, believing they only need to leave their savings untouched without any reinvestment or further asset allocation. They completely miss the opportunity to let their money continue working for them safely and wisely. As living expenses and healthcare costs steadily rise over the years, they eventually have to start eating into the principle, an act akin to cutting branches to eat the fruit, causing irreversible asset depletion. Saving the right way is true saving. Do not let the efforts of a lifetime slip away because of a false sense of security. Old age does not permit us to make major financial mistakes. Simply depositing money in a bank is not enough. Just because a number sits still does not mean the asset is truly preserved. The world changes, life changes, and financial strategies must evolve accordingly. True safety comes from knowledge, proactivity, and adaptability. Do not let the precious final years of life be filled with anxiety and disappointment because of blind trust in old financial habits. Start learning to allocate your assets wisely, build a smart financial roadmap, and prepare yourself for all future changes, beginning today. Before we wrap up, leave a positive affirmation in the comments below to attract good things into your life. For example, I am a wise manager of my retirement finances, or any other positive wish you have. And do not forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you will not miss valuable content like this. Let us together build a community of strong, proactive, and happy seniors. See you again in the next sharing, where we will continue to explore the secrets to making your golden years prosperous and meaningful.